Morning everyone, me again. I've done a little interview with Paul to sort of show what it's like from a partner's point of view, to be with somebody who has bipolar. It's only a short video, and there is obviously a lot more to it, so we'll talk about that. We'll do some more sort of videos with that in. But I just wanted to say I hope everyone's okay. If you're not, I'm gonna start adding some stuff, some information to the end of my videos of where you can find help or reach out to somebody if you feel like you're struggling. Don't struggle alone. It's really important that you talk to somebody. The world's a better place for you being in it, and I mean that. Also, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's watching all the videos. I can see from the analytic stuff that you get that there's people watching in America and Germany, Canada, India. So thank you so much. Pop a comment on, let us know where you're watching from and let us know you're all okay. And yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoy the video. Thank you. Hi everyone, me again. This is Paul, my partner. You might see that we tried to do this video last night, but we'd had a couple of drinks and it didn't go to plan. So we're just going to talk through a little bit today about what it's like from Paul's perspective, me having bipolar disorder. Yeah, so if you've got any questions or whatever, then just pop it down and we'll answer them another time. So, yeah. So how do you feel about having a partner with bipolar disorder?
I don't know, I suppose I'm just a supportive person, so,
You are.
yeah, you already had me hooked in anyway, didn't you? So,
Yeah.
I suppose I'm used to it due to my role in school, supporting people with mental health and stuff like that, so, yeah, it's just part of you.
Yeah, it is, and that I can't sort of change anything about how I am. I can only just try and work on things a little bit, but I know there are some frustrations, like not necessarily on your part, but I think like I'm really bad with money, like really, really bad with money. And I know that can sometimes frustrate you. But so what are your sort of warning signs that I might be either going into mania or a depressive episode?
I suppose when we're together, it's, I think the thing that I notice most is you'll be sort of, we'll be sat here and you'll be sort of staring sort of just into the air or whatever, and then I'll say, "Are you all right?" You know, "Yeah, are you?"
Right, yeah,
Which is something that if you're fine today and I ask you that, you'll be like, "Yeah, why are you asking?" or something like that.
yeah,
So I find that although that's a normal response, like if I phone you up and it's the first thing you say to each other, you check, are you okay? You're like, "Yeah, are you?" It works,
yeah.
but not when we've been sat in the same room for 3 hours or whatever. It's just I think that's one of the warnings
Do
that
you know,
I've noticed.
that's really weird you should say that, because one of my friends, Siobhan, she has said that I do ask quite a lot, like, are you okay? I'm always asking if other people are okay,
Yeah,
like I'll
yeah.
respond with a question again. So I don't know if that's sort of something that anyone else can relate to or whatever.
Yeah, and I suppose that's down to you being worried that something bad is going to happen.
Yeah.
Either to yourself or to somebody else.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think the last time you sort of had a really big dip was when you sent me a text message saying, "I need to call the school."
Yeah.
Why?
That was terrible. So
and you're like, "Oh, something bad's going to happen."
yeah. So just to give a bit of context to that, I just randomly got it in my head that there were going to be some sort of horrible thing happen at the school with people going into the school. Must have seen something on the news or whatever, and I'd convinced myself that that's what were going to happen, and people had to stop me from like going into the school and seeing if the kids were okay. And obviously I was sending out strange text messages to people and stuff, but I didn't go into the school, but I wasn't able to sort of reason with myself. It were other people that were having to try and sort of say that everything's okay and would know about it if there was anything wrong. But yeah, so I said I do often send you quite alarming messages, don't I?
Yeah.
And I feel really bad for it, but I can't help it.
No, no, I know,
Yeah,
and I understand that as well.
yeah,
I suppose it's just good for me to know that you are dipping sort of fairly early on and stuff
yeah,
like that. So I can communicate with your mum or whoever, and
yeah,
come and do some extra visits and make sure you are okay.
yeah. So if you were to notice that I were dipping, what would you do?
Firstly, I check if you'd let your mum know,
Yeah,
because I know that's stuff that you've sort of said in the past. Don't tell anyone.
yeah,
And I know from what you've said before that you will tell someone not to tell anybody,
yeah,
and everything's fine. But I just ignore that
yeah,
and make sure your mum knows. Even
yeah,
if you say, "Yeah, my mum knows," I've told her. I'll always text her and say,
yeah,
"Has she?"
yeah. So like my family, when I was in recovering from postpartum psychosis, I was in under the like an early intervention team for young people. I won't be able to get in with them now. But they did like a group session with all of my friends and my family, like all my support network, and it were amazing. I mean, it were hard to hear at the time, but one of the things we'd sort of agreed on and going forward with that, everybody would sort of let everybody else know to watch out for it, to keep me safe. So I'm really fortunate in that way that I've got so many people looking out for me, and I know a lot of people don't. Um, but it's important that you do reach out to like a professional if you are feeling that way. If you notice any warning signs, like I know myself, but I'm often the last to know when I'm dipping or when I'm going into a bit of mania. My friends or my family or Paul or my sister, my dad will see it first, um, and then I'll be like on reflection, I'll be like, oh yeah, maybe I were a bit like manic or not, or depressed or whatever. Um, yeah, so it although it might seem a bit strange, like Paul saying I do tell them when you've asked them not to. It's to keep me safe and to make sure that my support network are aware about what's going on as well. So what is it? What are the pros of living, not living with somebody, but being with somebody who has bipolar? Are there any?
Yeah, when we have a good laugh about everything you've done afterwards when you're better.
Yeah,
It brings up some brilliant stories, doesn't it, and stuff to laugh at. So yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's our
definitely
way
a
of getting through stuff, isn't it? Like we do, just laugh as
yeah,
way
yeah. And I
through
think
things.
it's good that when you are out of an episode or whatever, that you can laugh about
Yeah,
what you've done, because I think if you don't have that sense of humour, then thinking about the stuff you've done before will absolutely horrify you and possibly send you back into that state as
yeah,
well.
yeah. I mean, there are some things that I've done or been near to doing, whilst I've been not of sound mind, I suppose, for want of a better word phrase. And I do still get like massive regret over it. Like I feel
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
shameful. So over some things.
Yeah, which is natural because but it's not your fault, but it still doesn't make it so you can't.
Just a minute. Sorry. um. Yeah. So we were just saying, like, I do feel a bit shameful of some things that I've done in the past or wanted to do or talked about doing. And I don't know if that maybe can resonate with anybody else, like the shame that you feel, but then there are the funny things like Paul was saying. Yeah, so sorry. I don't know what else to ask you now.
Well, if it don't come natural, don't ask me what else. We'll finish it there and do another
Yeah,
one
I hope
when
that
you've got
kind
other
of
stuff to ask.
helps with some people. We might come back and jump on and do a little bit more, but thanks for watching, warriors.